Idaho quake, the biggest, is 3.6 today, as the earthquake swarm of about 10 earthquake continues after the 6.5 that we had a few days ago on the night of March 31st to April 1st. And Salt Lake City earthquakes are still continuing. They're about 9 to 10 kilometers down, about 4 to 6 miles down, and they are getting smaller, thank goodness. That's when we had the March 18th quake of 5.7, remember? This is where they are right there, south of Salt Lake, and this is one of the Utah volcanoes. Idaho volcanoes, Utah volcanoes. We know that Idaho has 9 volcanoes. The biggest, most recent explosion was Black Rock, which was 660 years ago. And Utah has 8 volcanoes south of Salt Lake City. And this is what we have here, a cross-section of what is underneath the magma body underneath. As you can see, it's stretching. It's a range, basin and range area that is basically almost rifting. This is the area of the, right there, the fault lines, as you can see. The biggest quake today of 3.6. This is the craters of the moon area of Idaho that has this big quake swarm happening, the biggest 3.6 today. This is it right here. As you can see, that's the biggest one right there, 3.6. And there's about 10 of them right there. They seem to be decreasing, thank goodness. But the scientists did tell us, 20 years ago, that they are expecting a 7 to 7.5 magnitude earthquake in this area that is overdue for this type of an earthquake, this size of an earthquake. And this is where Yellowstone is right there. It's about 190 miles east of the Idaho quake swarm that we're having. And these are just northwest of Yellowstone. They were small, as we could see, and that's the distance from Idaho to Utah, Salt Lake City. These are the quakes there. They're about 10. Today's quakes are in blue, and the past week is in yellow, and we can see that they're much smaller and diminishing in the number of the quantity of quakes, thank goodness. That is an area which is very low lying. It's a filled-in lake, land-filled lake, filled, man-filled as well as by nature. So Salt Lake was once united with Provo Lake, which is south of Salt Lake City. So that is very soft sediment there. And that's why when we had the 5.7, we had damage to the Latter-day Saints temple. The spire was damaged, the statue was damaged, and these are some of the volcanoes in the area. This is Utah, and you can see we have cinder cones there as well. This is Black Rock of the craters of the moon area of Idaho, and this is where we had the tremendous shaking of the 6.5, and this again is the cross-section of the mantle plume that comes from Baja straight through Utah and into Yellowstone. And you can see the red on top on the left image, how close it is to the surface. Okay, we're talking about west to east to Yellowstone, and you can see that a big part of that plume is right under Idaho craters of the moon. This doesn't show the plume at all well, but we did just see the cross-section of it. And as you can see, it goes like a 7, a number 7. It goes from Utah into Yellowstone, turning west horizontally into Idaho. It's the same body of magma. That's why a few days after we had the Salt Lake City quake, we had the Utah. This is craters of the moon. You can see the tremendous amount of lava flow right there. And let's read a little bit about volcano discovery, craters of the moon. Craters of the moon are located northwest end of the large lava field of the Snake River Plain in Idaho. The volcanic field contains over 60 lava flows, 25 cinder cones, up to 250 meters high, that's about, times 3, about 800 feet high, 8 eruptive fissure systems, and covers an area of 1,600 square kilometers. The craters of the moon formed in 8 eruptive periods, each lasting several hundred years, and separated by quiescence intervals up to 3,000 years. The eruptions began about 15,000 years ago and ended with the most recent eruption only 2,100 years ago. And in contrast with the craters of the moon, most other lava fields in the Snake River Plain formed during single short eruptions. On average, lava outputs was 1.5 cubic. Here are volcanoes discovery, craters of the moon, and the background, the 25 cinder cones. The northern part of the field overlaps White Knob and Pioneer Mountains. And these are craters of the Moon volcano. It's green, as we can see. Goes to Idaho again. 9 volcanoes in Idaho. Here we are. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. And you can see they're ending at Yellowstone. You're all across the state. Oregon, all across horizontally. That's where we saw that 7. That's where we saw that 7. And the other ones are this way, as we saw that 7. And it turns into, of course, Yellowstone and then goes down. This is the magma plume that we saw before. So obviously, this is connected with this because of the, and it turns in Yellowstone because it's the same magma, it's the same mantle plume. And that's why we had this quake after this 5.7. And they are expecting, this one blows like clockwork every 3,000 years, as the geologists warned us of in the year 2000, 2010. It last went up around 2,100 years ago. And it's not imminent that it's going to happen. It may happen tomorrow, may happen in 1,000 years. So we're not saying it's going to go off, but it's good that it's releasing energy. But obviously this must have, we have had a, you know, it's unsettling when you have such big quakes there, obviously. The geologists have told us that they have in no way any effect on Yellowstone supervolcano. The only effect they may have would be on the hydrothermal systems, that is on the geysers. The geysers may change their frequency of erupting, or you may have other geysers forming in areas where they didn't have geysers before. You may have had fumaroles or some steaming ground, and then all of a sudden you may have some geyser coming out from there. These are the types of changes they may see according to the latest Yellowstone caldera chronicles by the geologist in charge of Yellowstone, Michael Poland. So not to worry. I'll leave links below for you for this. Thank you. If you'd like to join me on my Patreon account, you will hear content not covered by mainstream media. These riveting stories will be based on my research, and I will state my opinions and give my personal insight on diverse and controversial subjects and world events not covered by mainstream media, and not supported by YouTube guidelines. So whatever I have on my Patreon, most of those will not be on my YouTube channel. Please consider becoming a member today. More of the most significant and important videos will be on my Patreon channel. Your support helps me to continue my research and keeps this YouTube channel alive. And we depend on your support, your generous charity, because we help economically challenged families here in Athens, Greece, in Kapota, and we also help the young generation with university tuition and the community around our church. Thank you.